Hello everyone, I am Brian Braun-Duin, or BBD, and I'm going to be battling today with a Grixis control deck in Standard. Blue-Red Control was a deck that was pretty popular during the last few Standard formats, but the issue with Blue-Red Control is that it wasn't very good. It was pretty easy to beat for a lot of different decks, but I think that Blue-Red Control got an enormous upgrade in Hour of Devastation through a number of different cards. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. The biggest upgrade that the deck got is Hour of Devastation. It's a 5 mana spell that basically kills all creatures and planeswalkers for all intents and purposes. Deals 5 damage to all creatures and 5 damage to all non-Bolas planeswalkers, which is most of them. And that's going to kill almost all planeswalkers and going to kill almost all creatures as well. Really important card against something like Mardu vehicles, which was really good against the deck. Now that we have the sweeper, they can kill Gideon and the rest of their board. It's pretty important. Another big card is this one right here, Abrade. It deals 3 damage to target creature or destroys an artifact. That card is important because of 2 main reasons. The first is that it kills Heart of Kiran. Sometimes Harness Lightning wasn't good enough to kill Heart of Kiran if you didn't draw an Aether Hub or if you hadn't cast a Glimmer of Genius yet. So having a spell that's cheap that can kill Heart of Kiran, and more importantly that can kill it before it has to be a creature. So one of the things that Mardu vehicles could do against this deck is only animate Heart of Kiran into a creature when they wanted you to spend the mana to kill it instead of casting a Glimmer of Genius or something else. And now we can just, like, if they don't activate it, we still have a way to kill it, whereas before we would have to wait for it to be a creature to kill it with Harness Lightning. The other big thing is this kills Verdurous Gearhulk, which is one of the few creatures that can get out of range of Hour of Devastation. It's nice now that we have a couple of new tools here that are really important. And then the other thing too is we now have Nicol Bolas, God-Pharaoh. And I don't know how good Bolas is, but we're going to give him a spin here. And I think that Bolas fits really well into the blue-red control deck because it's very easy to cast Bolas. Only 1 black mana source. We have 4 Aether Hubs, and then we are playing 2 Feeded Pools and 2 Canyon Sloughs to provide us with 8 black sources, which by the time we get to turn 7, we should have generally found one, especially with Glimmer of Genius and all these cycling cards to help us get there. And another card, actually another new card for blue-red control, is Supreme Will, which is basically a counterspell on turn 3. And within the first few turns of the game, it's always going to be a counterspell, like probably turns 3 through 6, they won't be able to pay. But after that point, you can also use it as an expensive card. Anticipate, that's the card I'm thinking of. So you can use it as an expensive Anticipate. So I like the versatility of this card, and I think it's going to be pretty good. I still have a number of disallows because of how good they are later in the game, but I think a mix is right. And then another card that I'm really big on is Essence Scatter, which I think is really good in this format. It's good against control decks and aggro decks. Takes care of Torrential Gearhulk. Takes care of a lot of problematic cards from other decks like Bristling Hydra and so on. So pretty excited about playing some Essence Scatters as well. And then the sideboard, pretty straightforward stuff in here for the most part. Got a couple more sweepers and removal. Got some grindier cards, Dynavolt Tower, Dragon Master Outcast. Could come in a variety of matchups depending on how we expect our opponent to be set up for us, and so on and so forth. Some extra counter magic for more control or some of the mid-rangey matchups after sideboard. But yeah, this is basically just blue-red control from the last format with a bunch of upgrades, and we're going to run through a league and see if these upgrades have what it takes in the new standard format.